Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something clicked.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. So do you have any parts that you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
Yeah, it's funny. During the minute, it was like a parade of parts.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching them go by. My experience was that I was first thinking about, okay, so what part do I want to talk to?
Mm-hmm.
I think I really want to work on that one that gets triggered by clients, not just by clients, but I'm aware of that. And then I was aware of the feeling, the worry, a part that's worried that I wouldn't be able to make access. I wouldn't have contact with it because it's not present moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then a part that was worried that I wasn't using the minute the right way. I didn't even know what we were supposed to be doing during this minute. So I'm probably not getting that right. So there's 3 parts right there.
Yeah.
It was just a parade. Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Might be 4.
The part that is wondering what part to start with. I don't know if that counts as a part.
No, that's right. That's the first. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So, I think that there is a longing to work through a sensitivity, a reactiveness, right? A reactivity, and just all sorts of things around that, right? So I start to try to move towards whatever part of me gets upset when, what my thinking parts have decided about this part is that it's, it gets upset when I think I have something of value to offer someone and they won't let me give it to them. They won't take it. They won't let me do it.
Okay, sure.
Right. And then as soon as I wanted to walk towards that, then all those other things came in. And I'm pretty sure those parts are the ones they may make it themselves known as having
Great.
something to say first.
They're all welcome.
Yeah.
They're all welcome. We have time and getting to know all of them, I think, is really kind of the big mission, the big project that we're all dealing with. So,
yeah.
If any of them feel like they're at the front of the line and you want to start with, that's fine. or if you want it.
I'm aware of very much wanting you to take the reins a little bit here.
That's fine. That's fine.
Give me some guidance.
Yeah.
I just feel lost. Like I feel like I'm not quote unquote good at directly accessing my own parts, especially ones that I maybe have some ambivalence towards or negative feeling towards.
Sure. Yes. I understand. Yeah. It's a feeling of a concern that you don't know where to start, or a part that thinks you're not good at identifying the right parts or going to the right parts first. Is that kind of right?
Yeah. And also just that I have, whenever I try to, now I'm watching something very interesting happen. Just a muddy, fuzzy, my thoughts just fell apart in front of me kind of thing. So that's an interesting new one. I just find that when I want to directly access a part that the other parts of me don't like very much, it's just very hard for me to do.
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
I don't want to feel those things. I don't want to turn towards it. I'd rather figure it out or think about it from, that thinking distance.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll pick one. We'll try to go there. And then if something comes up, we can address it in a number of ways. And no matter what, that's fine. That's all getting to know parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of doing that. Like I'm saying that I want to make contact with the one who's sensitive and reactive. Yeah. And then I'm immediately blocked by probably 3 or 4 other parts of myself.
Let's go ahead and call that sensitive reactive part. Let's call that our target. And just see if you can notice whenever that part's coming up, maybe put yourself back in one of those situations where that part does come up. Where do you notice it in or around your body?
Yeah, I can't.
Let's keep going.
Well, there's a lot of frustration at not being able to do the very first step,
Yeah. That's great. We can address that. What's that frustration feel like? Where do you notice that in or around your body?
I can feel it, but I'm not sure I can describe it. It's like kind of like it's not a thick cloud, but it's like a kind of slightly dark cloud that's almost more around than in. And there's a lot of thoughts about, not being good at something I should be good at.
Yeah, let's hear more of those. What else? What other messages is it sending you?
It's got such a feeling of block around it. Like it doesn't, it just feels like none of my parts want me to talk to them directly. But yeah, okay. So I want to be good at this thing. I need to be good at it. I'm not good at it. I should be good at it. This is a problem. It's just a very stuck feeling.
Mm-hmm.
A stuck feeling with some like meaning about my goodness attached to it or worthiness attached to it.
And does that feel like the same dark cloud kind of feeling, or does that feel like a different part?
No, it's part of the same thing.
Okay. And so when that is doing its thing, when that comes up for you, or just right now, as you notice it, how do you feel towards it?
I have a hard time accessing feeling towards it because I got right away like the analyzing parts come in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had the thought, and this might be a true thought. I mean, my analyzing parts are good at what they do. I had the thought that, oh, well, that's recursive. That's just the part, you know, the serpent eating its tail. Like, it's all the same thing. It's all the same experience of like, it's feeling stuck, and that stuck feeling being some indicator that I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's something something I should be.
Yeah.
Or need to be.
Makes sense to me. You've done a lot of work. You've come a long way in your practice and in your studying, and you have this pressure or this feeling like you should be at a certain place, and it's frustrating when that's not easy to access for you. Does that sound right?
I mean, I think that's the way it applies to the immediate moment, and then I think you know, it's much more foundational than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more just a sense of when I hit some kind of wall on something I think I should be able to do or get across. There's this frustration, there's this darkness, there's this meaning making of not good.
Yeah.
It's not even good, like not good enough, but like not good, you know.
Mm. Yeah. So I would like to, just personally, and that doesn't mean much, but I would like to get to know this part that's frustrated, this dark cloud part. Like I would find that really interesting, and I'd like to get to know it as much as I'd like to get to know any of the parts.
Okay.
So I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying you need to do anything with that. I just want you to know that. I want your parts to know that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And so I guess I would ask you again, how you're feeling towards that frustration part. Do you also want to get to know it?
I don't know. I had a complex reaction when you said that, where like someone got emotional, someone felt kind of touched or moved or just emotional. I don't even know if it was a good emotion, like a good moved.
Mm-hmm.
And then just aware of like the sullen quality of this part. How do I feel towards it? Am I interested?
Yeah,
I think, you know, there's a lot of wanting to fix it stuff that comes in. It's hard to just be curious.
Sure. So let's try with those parts that want to fix it or any other parts that come up around it. See if you can just kind of acknowledge them. You might picture that you're at a kind of round table and you have all these parts. And acknowledge them. Maybe ask them if they can settle, if they can give you some space, if they would be all right with that, so that you can kind of tune in and listen to one part at a time. And in this case, kind of tune into that frustration part and just see how they react to that.
So Oh man. So much going on. It's like the same recursive frustration because you're asking me to do something I'm not good at. So like you say, like picture, and the visual thing is I'm not great with the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't seem to connect that way. I'm better with like auditory and more like embodying.
Okay. Thank you for that, for letting me know that. So
then I felt the
mm-hmm.
one that was like, you know, you're a problem. You're so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's asking you to do a very simple thing and you're being difficult.
Yeah. Can I talk to the part that says you're difficult?
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying hearing all of the descriptions, the thorough descriptions of so many parts. There's so much richness in your ability to notice it all. And I'm not feeling that difficulty. I understand that you might be feeling difficulty, but when I see all that, I see like a rich tapestry that actually could make it easier to explore. So I just want to appreciate that.
Okay. I wonder if it's all kind of the same part of the same experience. It's like, the thoughts about being difficult, being feeling very similar to the thoughts about not being good.
Yeah.
Like I'm stuck and
I can continue just talking with this part if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know which one we're dealing with at this point because it all gets really muddy. I think there's a way in which it's all part of the same thing,
Yeah. Tell me what you want me to know about you being difficult. Or tell me about that experience. What's it like for you?
Frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I'm like trying so hard.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this kind of job?
The trying so hard?
Yeah. And dealing with that frustration.
Oh, forever, always.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds really difficult.
I mean, there's story, I know some things about what I think this is about.
But it feels like kind of forever.
Yeah, it makes sense that it would be. It makes sense that I might be stuck in some pattern that's like infancy old.
It makes total sense to me.
Yeah. And it's like got two sides of a coin. It's like I'm always flipping back and forth as I'm trying to connect with this stuff. Mm-hmm. Between the one side that's about trying to offer something of value and the side that's like trying not to be a problem.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel like two different parts. It feels like it's just two sides of the same frustration and effort.
So what's the concern? What's behind that? What would be so bad if you didn't have anything to offer, for example, in this conversation with me? What's the fear?
Well, there's like a discomfort with not having anything, but like it's just this. I mean, I'll be honest with you, James. oh, well, I was going to say that and then it didn't feel true. It's like at some level, I feel like I often have a lot of value to offer. And the sticking point is that the person won't take it.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's this kind of frustrated, stuck, shut down, sullen, dark clouded place.
Yeah.
Um,
and going a little deeper, if it's all right, what's so bad about the person not taking it? What if I was not able to acknowledge that everything that you have to offer? Like I wasn't able to see it. What would be bad about that?
Just loneliness.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Not being able to connect, not being understood.
Yeah, and being and then being like totally left.
Yeah.
Just literally alone.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, it's really, really beyond uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, and I think the reactive part's the one that like just, pushes back on that.
Yeah, so thank you for showing me that, because that's vulnerable and it's obvious. I mean, that's something you don't want to go to. And I want to show you, give you appreciation for sharing that with me, but also appreciation for that work that you do. You are trying to protect the system.
It's like in some ways even
to avoid
more
that pain.
Well, in some ways it's easier to go to this vulnerable. This happens a lot where like in some ways it's easier for me to go to this really hurt, sad, lonely, sullen. Yeah, there's frustration, but like that's not the reactivity. And I pass right by the one who pushes back on it, because that's the one who acts in ways that I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the shutdown that happens sometimes when I get in this place, but the one that gets reactive and like outwardly frustrated, like panicky, frustrated with people.
Yeah.
And
if I may, that part that was not feeling good enough, did it receive, or how did it feel about my appreciating its role in protecting you from that loneliness? Did it receive that?
No, because it's not the protector. That's what I'm saying. Like it's the one who just feels the lonely. So we passed right by the one who protects.
Okay.
And that happens a lot.
All right. So yeah, I'm wondering which part I was talking to. If we have a name or a label for that part, because I kind of thought it was the part that was saying I'm not feeling good enough. I don't have anything to.
Yeah, and I think
offer.
that's more wounded. And
I appreciate you pointing that out, and you could totally be right.
Yeah.
I also would like to put out there that it's possible that all of the parts are wounded. It's possible that the line between what exactly is a protector and what's an exile might, that's something we could describe in a textbook, but it might not really apply. And I don't know. So I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just saying I think that's possible and common for it to be, for parts to not fit in the boxes, so
yeah. Yeah.
Which I also appreciate.
Definitely get that that's true, and that but I would apply that more to the one that I keep skipping over. I've had moments where I've been able to have some compassion and appreciation for the one that like fights back against it. this feeling. Especially, I mean, there are times when I'm not allowed to totally shut down and go sullen, and certainly with clients, you can't just like shut down and go sullen,
Sure.
so
Yeah, being overwhelmed by that part is not an option for you in most scenarios. That's not somewhere that you want to go.
Right. So the one that like digs in and is like, fuck no, like I'm going to get through, or I am going to make you, or like, gotta keep trying, like,
yes.
like,
yeah, that's the part.
Yeah. That's the one we kind of skip over. And because
should we return to that?
We can try. And what I'm saying is, as much as I can, like, when I'm not in contact with it, I can have this appreciation for what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
I really, some other part of me resists feeling the feelings that come along with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it sounds uncomfortable. It sounds like not a pleasant place to be.
No, and it just takes over. And then I'm being something that I have a lot of other parts have a lot of judgment and contempt and disdain for.
Should we try focusing on that and see if we can
try? Let's try.
All right. This is the part that is going to get through. This is the part that is going to demonstrate to this other person to get through this other person your value, what you have to offer. Yeah. What's it feel like?
A memory that comes to me that's not even about that. I was in a dance class in college, and we were doing a balance, and I was falling off balance, and there's this way in which this kicks in where I'm just like, some part of me almost growls.
Yeah,
like,
I heard.
And like,
that's right.
And then I
hear that.
Find it, and my teacher noticed and praised it. It was like, oh my God, I love the way you just freaking, and I remember feeling confused by that praise and kind of embarrassed by it because I was like, no, that's not how, like, I don't want to be finding it that way.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be expressing in this publicly, right? You felt like it took you over, and here's someone saying, "Hey, cool, I like that."
Yeah, and I also just wish that I could do it without what feels like anger.
Yeah, sure. Will you say more about how it feels when it comes up?
Yeah, just that.
Let's hear it.
Just that, and I'm balling up my fists and twisting them. I'm doing. It's a little bit butt heady. Remember when he would do that? That thing.
I do.
It's a little bit that, except not funny at all.
No. How are you feeling towards the part as you notice it right now?
I have some affection, just because I'm framing it the way I'm framing it.
Great. Can you let it know that you have some affection and that we would like to get to know it?
Sorry about the cough. It's a whole other thing I could go into that I'm not going to, but it'll be here. That cough will just happen. Yeah, I don't know.
This growling part.
Yeah.
Can you let it know that you have some affection? Just let it know. Doesn't have to be a whole spotlight. It could just be a sliver.
It's so qualified. Yeah. I'm throwing it whatever I do have, which is, a mixed bag, but.
Yeah. Do you have curiosity about it?
A little bit, enough to maybe start like.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. Ask this part what it would like for you to know.
Oh man, there's such a block to directly asking anything of this part.
Okay.
To talking with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all right. What's the concern?
It's not concern. It's just like I just get literally blocked. Like it just gets stuck. Like I go to do it and I just can't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying.
Let's
And then
try
I'm projecting that it must be annoying to you.
It's most certainly not. I'm fascinated and I'm enjoying all of this. Let's try again to ask all those other parts if they will give us a little space. Remember that we don't have to share this with anyone.
Right.
And really, you don't have to share what that part says to you. You don't have to share with me.
Yeah. No, it's not, I appreciate that. And that would be a logical concern. It's like, I don't even want to touch it. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's fine for me to have like this humorous distance from it and imagine Butthead doing his little cornholio thing and like laugh at it. But to try to actually make contact with any kind of openness, it's like, I don't want to do it.
Okay. Let's talk to that part. Part that does not want to touch this, does not want to go to this growling wants to get through part.
I mean, mostly it's just this like blank that comes in. It's a blankness, but I think there are questions underneath it. Like, this seems very heady, but it's kind of like a sense of, this other part is so visceral, so primal, so nonverbal. Like, what do you think you're going to get? Like, there's nothing verbal here. It literally is just that growl.
Yeah.
So you're going to ask a question.
And you're just going to hear a growl.
And all there is that growl. Yeah.
Right.
So what are we doing?
What are we doing? That would be really frustrating. That would be, maybe you feel like that was a waste of my time, right?
Well, and then I'll feel stuck and then I'll be back in the sullen place.
That makes sense to me.
The movie Get Out where he goes to the sunken place?
I don't know it.
Oh, man. Go see Get Out. Now, like, leave this phone call and go rent Get Out. It's the best movie ever made. Well, it's one of the best. It's flawless. Anyway.
Really doesn't want to touch it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe this is partly evasive. But what I'm saying is there's a scene in that movie where she there's a woman who hypnotizes the main character and he goes into what he calls the sunken place. And there's this really kind of painful, they show what they demonstrate what this is like for him. And it really speaks to, so I call it the sullen place. So when you said, what's the name for that part? It's the sullen one, or the one in the sullen place. And yeah, I mean, I have totally lost the thread, but there's the sullen one. And then there's the growler. Let's just call it the growler. The growler.
And then there's the part that doesn't want to touch the growler, the part that doesn't want to go there.
Yeah. Cause it's just,
let's hear more. Yeah.
Blank. It's just,
yeah.
I don't even know how to direct my question. So the thing I'm curious
when
to
the
know,
growling part, okay.
No,
what
please,
are you curious
go ahead.
to know? When the growling part comes up,
yeah,
it doesn't feel blank when it comes up, right?
No. There's a blankness that comes in when I try to connect with it on purpose, but no.
Right.
When it comes up, it's just that
really strong
pure,
emotion, really
frustrated.
It's got some anger in it.
Growl. Yeah.
So this part that is concerned about contacting it or thinks that it'll just be blank.
It just creates a blank. Creates this like wall of blankness where I can't quite connect with. It's like,
So does that make sense to you? Why that part would do that? Why it would create the blankness to keep you from connecting with this growler?
I feel like I don't fully understand that yet. I mean, I think I had just had some thoughts about it that made some kind of sense, but I don't think I'm understanding fully what is just feels so prohibitive about.
Yeah. Would you like to?
Yeah, I would like to
Okay.
understand that better.
Let the part know that you would really like to understand this blankness, the way it comes, the way it uses that tool, and more about it. And if you have its attention, ask it what it wants you to know.
Oh, it feels so recursive. It feels like, it keeps me from talking to it as well. Like as soon as I try to have an inner dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
I know how to talk to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly cannot. Okay, I'm going to try something. I'm just going to say it out loud and see if that
Great.
bypasses it a little bit. So I'm just going to say to this blankness that I really want to understand what it's doing, what makes it want to come in here and get in the way of connecting with this other thing, what it's about. What are you about? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Just blank. And it's so aggressively blank because honestly, my head is very rarely blank.
Yeah. Can
Right.
I try talking to it?
Please.
Okay. Hey, blank part. Am I talking to the part that makes it blank?
Sure.
I see that you use this, that you create this blankness when we try to contact the growler. And I'm really curious. I'm really curious about that.
Not just the growler.
Not just the growler, but any other parts that are difficult. It sounds like you have a blankness.
It's actually showing me something I'm able to do at night.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually make my mind avoid thought when, like, oh, it's going towards something. When my mind wants to go towards something painful or upsetting that would keep me up,
Mm-hmm.
I can just shut that down and avoid. It's like, oh, I come in here too. You just go blank.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. So
that makes a lot of sense to me.
It's an avoidant part, right? It's just an avoidant part that I can actually harness sometimes, but other times just takes over. But I definitely harness it sometimes.
And it makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm going to, with your permission, just keep asking about it.
Yep.
And I don't have any label for it. All I know is there's a part. All I know is there's a part that does that thing.
You think that's too derogatory? I think it's literally doing that. So I'm not trying to be like judgy about it. It's like,
no, I don't have any. I'm sorry if it came off that way, but
no, it's okay.
No, that's just not where I'm at right now. Where I'm at right now is I would love to learn more about this part.
Yeah, so a blank part that
which
allows me to avoid.
Which makes sense to me. Allows you to avoid. Allows you to get to sleep when there's painful thoughts. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allows me to move on in relationships when there's painful stuff that I don't think can be resolved. I'll just move on.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about it.
And how long have you been doing that? How long have you been performing that job?
That's a good question. That's not so clear.
Mm-hmm. How do you like the job?
This part doesn't have a lot of feelings. which is part of the.
Let's just check.
That's the whole deal, right? Like that's the whole purpose. Like that's the whole heart of it right there, right? Is that I don't feel.
And I guess I'm asking how it feels to not feel.
Yeah, but okay.
How do you like it? How do you like this is a job that you have? How do you like doing that job?
Oh, I think there is actually some sense of pride may not be the perfect word, but there's like a a thank goodness for me. I'm good at my job, thank God. kind of feeling about it.
That's what I'm thinking. Thank goodness for you. Thank goodness for your ability to do that. It sounds like a really, really valuable job that's saved the other parts, saved the system from a lot of pain.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it doesn't help me get out of rumination. It's not about thoughts. It gets me out of feeling. And if there are thoughts associated with that, then fine. But like, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I have figured out parts that are so compulsive and this blank has no power over it. Cannot do anything with that process. But things that aren't ruminative like that, just like, my mother is her health is declining. She's dying. And I can just not think about that at night. It creeps in and then I can just not think about that. Because that's not
incredible.
Yeah, it's not a ruminative process. It's just an upsetting thing that comes in. And then I just don't think about it. It's just the blankness.
I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. And I find that very valuable. I have parts like that too. It's very valuable. I'm very appreciative when they're able to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm appreciative to this part in you of the way it protects you, the way it has wanted to protect you, its intentions.
Yeah. I think I'm actually, I am mediating. You're talking to the part, but I think it actually is I am actually there mediating the conversation, which is good. It means I've got enough self-energy to unblend. Yeah, and I feel that way too. And I am trying to communicate that to the blankness that I can really see that in certain situations, it's really helping me. I have actually been grateful for it lately, given that I'm like very aware of how it's helping me sleep.
Yeah, show it that.
Yeah. And then some part wishes it wouldn't do that with this other thing. I want to be curious about.
Let's just stay with this blank part.
Yeah, okay.
Let's just stay with it if it's all right with you.
Oh, I was definitely like coming with an agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it receive that appreciation you have for it?
I don't know. It's pretty blank. I guess there's a kind of satisfied, like that's what I thought, like.
Are you okay spending more time right here with your appreciation for this part?
That's a good question. There is some resistance to that.
All right. What if we just kind of budget half a minute?
Sure.
Is that all right?
Yeah. I got somebody going, what for? What was that for? And I'm trying to send them to, I'm like, okay, yeah, we don't know yet. It's okay.
Yeah.
Little space for James to work.
Half a minute.
Yeah.
Of just staying with the appreciation that you have for the part that can make the feelings go away, the blankness. And I'll even set a timer if you like.
No, that's okay. Yep.
those 30 seconds.
Okay. Definitely the part that doesn't like is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not getting it right. Took over.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing there.
Okay. Would you be all right with us giving it another go? We could try something else.
Well, I'm wondering what feels important to you about hanging out in the gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
You have the sense that it hasn't really fully been received, or
That's the sense that I have. Yes.
yeah. I mean, it was definitely kind of like, that's what I thought. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I guess I would like to know more about that and what else, how that was for it, and how it is for you to just be in that space for the 30 seconds we tried to be in it.
Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't, James. I was like
Yeah.
totally in that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not getting it
Yeah.
right. What am I?
Yeah.
I was just in that for like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So I think that that's really, when you ask, kind of what I'm up to here, it's
Mhm.
I guess just practicing
Mm.
like being in appreciation for a part, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing this. I just keep seeing the one way it's really obviously helpful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, relationally, I definitely am trying to express some gratitude for how in situations where a real resolution, a real reconciliation of the feelings doesn't seem possible. There's some appreciation for how it's like protecting those relationships
Yeah.
by allowing me to kind of just put it aside.
Mm-hmm.
But that triggers other things. The moment I start to think
That makes
about
sense to me.
all the ways that this
That makes sense to me.
comes in, it starts to
Yes.
trigger like places where I'm frustrated by it.
Right. Right. And so I think, again, that's kind of what I was getting at with kind of practicing, even for just 10 seconds, like asking these other parts that want to come in if they can wait their turn. Because as I said earlier, I feel like it's my mission to learn about and appreciate all my parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to help you do that, help everyone do that. So that's what I'm starting with here, is just kind of, if there's some appreciation for this part, being in that, sharing that with it. And knowing that it received it.
I guess I understand everything you're saying, and I don't think you're wrong. I just am not really sure that didn't happen. Like, I get that the part's response was a little perfunctory, but there's something just very matter of fact and feeling-less about this part, right? It's blank. It's blankness. So it doesn't have a lot to offer there. It's just like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that feels
So
like this part receiving.
I'm not arguing with you that it didn't happen or did happen. Yeah. Like,
and so then there's just like, I don't know what else.
Well, I'm not asking you to do anything else.
Okay.
I mean, what if you appreciated this part 10 times a day? Like, would that be a problem?
You totally triggered somebody in there.
Yeah.
There was like this isn't like that. There was definitely a strong feeling associated with that, and some thoughts about how this isn't the part that we're trying to help here. This part doesn't need us. This part is fine. Waste time connecting with this.
Yeah.
When, there's this, so it's like, on the one hand, if I turn towards this part too much, I'm reminded of it triggers all the reminders of all the ways in which it's not good. It's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if I
and what about all the other
turn away?
parts?
Sorry, hon. Go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking that you were also saying like, and what about all the other parts? Like I thought we were going to focus on this and that.
Yeah.
Right. That coming up too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like nobody in here can see the point of what you're trying to do. Or like,
Fair enough.
what are you doing?
Here's a question. You said nobody can see the point. Is there any part that can see the point of what I'm trying to do here?
Of what you're trying to do?
Yeah. Is there any part that
I
disagrees with that?
I think, maybe self, who reaches out to you and says, I'd like to have this experience, has enough faith and trust that you have, that whatever you're doing there is probably valid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have enough trust somewhere in here without totally understanding what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like not really. I mean, there's a lot of marriage to a particular agenda here, and this all feels very off topic. And it's like,
yeah. I just want to thank you for how clearly you're able to express that to me and share again a richness and a depth of all of these different parts, all of these different feelings. Like I really appreciate that. I don't see that as like, gosh, this is frustrating. This is a waste of time. Like I see that as like, wow, this is really rich and clear.
well,
Even though there's a lot of them, there's clarity around each of them.
Yeah. Oh, James, I don't have a shit ton of time left. Myself, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to try to let me in on what it is you're doing here with wanting me to kind of hang out with just the appreciation for my blank of somewhat avoidant part? Like
I could if that would feel helpful for me to keep talking about that. But I'm up for anything.
I am definitely curious, what has you kind of hanging out in this place where I have parts that don't want to hang out, like don't see the point of hanging out here. I am curious to know what you're thinking.
Yeah. So again, I would say that the mission, the project that I see of what is IFS is self-leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to kind of earn that leadership, in order to kind of earn that authority, it requires deep listening.
Yeah.
And it requires, I mean, kind of by definition, that listening is appreciation. We can't honestly spend time getting to know parts and walk away hating them. Like as we get to know them, we will appreciate them. And so when I think about, strong self-leadership, when I think about kind of where I want to head with myself, let's say, I think about me and my 100 parts and appreciating all of them. And I find myself regularly throughout the day. I mean, all day long, part comes up, part comes up, part comes up. And the response that I am more and more, responding to them with is appreciation.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more I'm able to appreciate and listen to them, the more we all get along, the more I can respond appropriately. And so I hear you having, I want to target this part or that part. And I guess the way I see it is they all deserve appreciation. And so where we start is to me less important than that we do that. Does that make any sense? Did I clear it up at all?
I mean, somewhat, yeah, it does. I mean, I think it's powerful when you say that, listening and appreciation are the same thing really in this, especially in this model, right? Like you can't appreciate if you aren't really listening, and listening is an act of appreciating. And there's a way in which, and I don't know, again, if it's recursive, if it's this blank part that gets in the way of that. or what, but like there's a way in which I'm struggling to really tune into and listen to any of these parts
Right.
in a sustained way. And even if it is the blank part, then like start there, right? That does make a sort of sense to me. Am I following you? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yes. And I just want to congratulate you for doing that. We did that today.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Frustrated, stuck feeling, right? Urgent to fix me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Stuff comes up.
I get it.
You know, I'm so much more patient with other people's
with your patients
process. Yeah. And just being with whatever's coming up now and having trust that we'll get where we need to go and really getting so much out of the journey. And like, it is very frustrating to have such a different internal experience.
Yeah. I felt all of those ways too, where it's a lot, it's more fun. It's more easy to be in this seat than in that seat.
But
I felt that way a lot.
That is exactly why I made myself available to this call. So, you know.
So thank you. Thank you to all of those parts. Thank you to the part that made yourself available. Thank you to all of the parts that showed up and let themselves be known. And thank you. I mean, I really appreciate it. And I admire and respect the way that you showed up today.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, James. Thank you. So I guess we'll just be in touch.
Absolutely.
Okie dokie.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.